All right, so more and more refined painting, and it feels so slow going, but then when you turn it off, you realize how much it is accomplishing to kind of blend and make things look more believable, more integrated. So I'm working on the wing right now with these soft edge brushes. I'm stealing the color from myself and then kind of bringing it in at low opacity all across. The one thing that can happen with these refined paint layers is you can lose strong color. So you have to kind of make an effort to reassert it sometimes where it matters to you. Purples, yellows, oranges, reds. I wanted these wings, even though they're just these kind of cheesy little medieval angel wings, I wanted them to have a lot of color in them. A lot of medieval wings in illuminated manuscripts are kind of rainbow colored based on descriptions from the Bible. And a lot of the biblical angels don't look at all like the images we have of people with wings. So you can be really free to create, just like those medieval illuminators varied their styles greatly. Some influenced by the Romans, some influenced by Islamic texts, some influenced by the barbarian cultures they came from. You are similarly bringing your influences together in your painting. So the top part of the wing's looking pretty good. Now I'm just trying to bring everything to the same level of finish, if possible, before turning it in. And if it can't all get there, that's okay. We're still learning the basics of digital painting. But for it to be a portfolio project that we might print, you don't want to have some areas that just feel like they're barely touched at all. And however you paint is just fine for this assignment, as long as you're not digitally coloring, right? As long as you're not just filling behind outlines. You're looking at shape and lighting. And that is digital painting, no matter how stylized. Now the reason I keep my paint layers separate is often at the end I like to play between them, kind of erase certain aspects, let parts of the rough painting show through. But as you're working, my tendency is always just to try to get it to all feel finished in the same way, right? But it's just like the way I work with traditional paintings is I'll often kind of finish off the painting and then take sandpaper to it and kind of rub it down through the layers in certain areas to reveal underpainting and prioritize some focal points over others. You can do the same thing with digital layers. But if you don't build at least a few different layers to work with, then you're just kind of stuck with replacing the pixels as you go, and you can't alternate them on each other. So one nice trick, just because I'm getting bored of all the refined painting, is I could at any time take this refined painting layer and then play with its hue saturation. Like maybe shift its hue a little bit cooler or a little bit warmer. And that won't affect the base painting underneath. Or I can just increase its saturation in general. Make it all more colorful. Right? These are options you have if you keep them on different layers. That's why I'm teaching you that technique. Though there are some digital painters that just do everything in one layer for efficiency of speed. But that's not because they want to go back and finish it later. That's because they just need something quickly for their client. And it's only ever going to be a concept. All right, nearly done with the wing here. Good. Okay, now the thing that bugged me about this back leg is that I feel like we're only seeing the one leg and maybe we need the other one. So I'm going to try something from compositing. I'm going to go to my rough painting, unlock it, take a big chunk of the leg, like that, duplicate it, Command J, and then move it behind my rough painting, and then, whoops, uncheck Auto Select Layer, then move it out a little bit, and let's try Option Command T, transforming it, so I have a second foot in there to work with. And then to make it more opaque, because that's only at 70%, right, I'm going to duplicate it on itself and then merge those two layers. So this is the back leg. It's behind my rough painting. And then I'm going to play with, let's do levels and darken it a little bit in the midtones. Limit its highlights. And I'll play with hue saturation, maybe to cool it down a bit. There we go. And now I'm going to move it behind the base painting, and I'm going to start painting on it at higher opacities to give me kind of a new base painting for this back leg. So I'll do it at 70. And I'll start with the shadows around it. Come on. Because even though my reference only had kind of the one leg showing from the sides, with the level of detail I'm putting into the painting, I think I want that second leg at least to be referenced. This is what I mean about kind of picking your big battles to finish it off, because at the end of this video, that's when I'm going to post it. So I can see in my navigator how that separation of the legs is working. And now I might go in or lock that and go back to my refined painting layer on top of everything and continue with the blending. Okay. So today's the deadline for assignment 7, so you need to get something in, even if it's just your inspiration. But I'm trying to get a painting that feels fairly consistent across its surface in whatever style you choose, or whatever varied inspiration you have. So on the refined paint, I'm going to move it back down to a lower opacity. And try to refine between some of these clunky hard edges. As I mix these paints, they all come closer together. You can see these feet are the thing I've worked the least on. So they look, when you zoom in, their paint texture is the least satisfying compared to, where I've worked more to build the variation. So that's what refined painting's all about.